Hey there, welcome to day one of our BU 365-day challenge. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and as you can see, we've got a blank journal for this year. Now, over the past 4 years, you may or may not know that I have done an annual challenge based on these little journal books. The first one was Do One Thing Every Day That Scares You for 2018. Every day that year I went live because I was scared to do video. I was scared to do live video. And I used it as my way of challenging myself by having a little challenge from the little journal book, Do One Thing Every Day. And I've shared the story of why I picked that and why I did that. Then the next year, in 2019, I did one thing every day to make me happy. I was going through lots of changes in my life, and I wasn't really super happy. And that's one of those areas in our life that it's 100% our responsibility to choose how we're going to feel about things. And to be happy, I wanted to make myself happier, so I did one thing every day that makes me happy and shared that every day. Then in 2020, lo and behold, COVID, the pandemic hit, and I was hanging out with I'd already decided I wanted more fun in my life, but I ended up hanging out with my then 4-year-old turned 5-year-old granddaughter. And we used this book and did this to kind of guide and help us through the pandemic so we could do one fun thing every day. And last year, we did one thing every day that centers us from the little journal book, Do One Thing Every Day That Centers You, because 2021 didn't feel that awesome to me. It started out, it was kind of a mess, and I wanted to feel better. And that led me to this year's challenge. We sold the cabin, so I'm not going to the cabin anymore, where I pick up these little journal books and can decide what I want to do my daily challenge on. And the secret is I started doing the daily challenge to wake up my voice so that I would become more comfortable speaking and showing up on video, and so that I would be more consistent and show up every day. Now this year, I thought about doing a couple of different things. I'm doing something new that I started in the fall where I listen to a hypnosis or a meditation every day. Now, I usually listen to it at bedtime, so I end up sleeping through about 90% of it, but it has made a drastic improvement on how I feel about myself, how I show up in the world, how I feel about different topics depending on what I'm listening to. And I wanted to build something around that for this year's challenge. But it's pretty challenging to figure out how to do a challenge for all the different people that can include a hypnosis or a meditation. And we'll talk about that maybe down the road in a couple of weeks. But I decided that this year I was going to actually 100% create my own 365-day challenge. Now, one thing that has been my personal motto since 2010 is be loving, love being, be you. It's just my mantra. It's my personal mantra that I attempt to live by every day. And realized over the course of my life and studies, I'm pretty old and been through a lot at this point in my life, that the most important thing that we can do is be ourselves and be the example of experiencing this life as only we can for other people, the people around us, the rest of the world. Well, how do we do that? Well, by getting to know ourselves better, which we started doing last year and feeling more centered, but I think it's bigger and more than that. So over the course of this year, every day, I will just share one thing, usually first thing in the morning, unless there's something like life that gets in the way, and it isn't until, I think it's probably afternoon right now today, because I was hanging out with my infant granddaughter. So I'll share something every day, and it'll be something that I am working on from a personal development, getting to know myself better, becoming a better example of what I want to see in the world, because the only thing we can really do and the only person we can really control is ourselves. And so if I can only control myself, that's where I have to start. That's where I have to work. That's where I can make the most of my time and energy, is by becoming the best version of myself that I can possibly be. I'm going to share that journey over the next 365 days, beginning today with this year's introduction to this year's challenge. And I actually thought about it on and off for about 4 months. Well, how can I use hypnosis every day? And I'm committing right now to this group that I will do at least one hypnosis session or meditation or affirmation session every day from a friend of mine's. Victoria Gallagher has an app called Cloud Hip app. It's the Hip app. It's a hypnosis app. She's got over 500 hypnosis sessions on there. And I maybe a little bit too gung-ho sometimes, but last year I bought it in about August, and I decided I was going to listen to all of them in order to decide how I could incorporate hypnosis and meditation and affirmations, 3 of my very favorite tools for personal development and continuous improvement and becoming the best version of myself, into the annual challenge. And I thought about it and thought about it, and I didn't come up with anything. Even yesterday, I was like, I don't feel good saying, okay, we're going to use Victoria's app and everybody has to go out and buy the app, and then every day this is the process we're going to use to choose a hypnosis and go through it. Because we want to make sure that each of our journeys is unique and different. So what I pick to listen to every day would be different than what anyone else participating in the challenge would pick. And that's okay, but it's hard to share and do lessons learned from that if we're all doing something different. So I'm going to do, like I've learned over the last 4 years, I'm going to pick something, either a saying or a hypnosis or an affirmation or a tool or something to share every morning, and then ask a question about it, or assign an action item or an action step, or ask, by asking a question is an action step. By answering the question, you've taken action every day for this year, 2022. And I guess what I ask of you is participate, engage, do the thing, and it's you tweaking and taking everything that you learn, everything that you experience, and making it your own. So if I ask a question and you're like, don't agree with it, or you think it's stupid, just share that in the comments below. Hey, I don't get where you're going with this particular action item or activity. Can you explain it to me? And I say direct message me and ask, and we'll go through that, and I'll explain what I'm thinking, and you can explain what you're thinking, and we can figure out together how to get the most out of this challenge for each and every one of us. So ask, get engaged, do the daily action item, and share your honest opinion, because this is all about being the best version of ourselves, and being honest with ourselves is first and foremost where we have to begin. So today, since we're the only person that we can control, I want you to ask and share in the comments below, what is something in your life, something that you've wanted to do or be or become for a long time? I listened to a training about a week or so ago that I was supposed to be in a live coaching program, and I couldn't because I had commitments and life got in the way and came up with the holidays and my granddaughter. And so I will always opt to help my family over a training program or a coaching session that I'm involved in. I always choose the people I love over things. Wasn't always that way, but it is now. People are way more important than things, and even my personal development and learning. That's not nearly as important as helping out where I can with the people I love and care about. So I was listening to it, and it talked about, as we go into 2022, we all have this list of things that we want, right? And probably things that we've wanted for a long time. I was looking at my goals list and reviewing that for 2021 last night, because I do that at the end of every year. And I looked at that and I thought, you know what? The big long-term goals that are on that list, they've been on that list for at least 10 years, right? And I'm making progress toward them, but I haven't really knocked them out or knocked them off the list. They're still the same list. And as I was thinking about my goals for this year, I'm like, well, I still want those same things. And then I realized that it isn't the things that I want that drive me to take massive action toward them. It's the things that I don't want. They're the things that motivate me and cause me to make changes and take actions. So if I don't want things I don't want anymore, there's parts of my personality and identity that I need to give up and say, I'm not that person anymore, because I want to be the person that already has the things I want. And we could have a whole hour-long conversation about this, and we probably need to, and if anybody would like to do that, let me know. But I started thinking about, in order to be the person I want on my goals list, who do I need to be and what do I need to give up? I need to give up that I struggle, let's say just from a health standpoint, I struggle with my health and my weight, and that I'm a chubby grandma. I need to give up that identity that I'm a chubby grandma and say, hey, I am a healthy 61-year-old woman, and just own that identity instead of thinking on a subconscious level that I'm a chubby grandma. Because I will tell you right now, I think I'm a chubby grandma, and guess what I keep getting if I keep thinking that? That's my identity, so I keep reliving that identity no matter how much I exercise, how well I eat, how many supplements I take. I'm setting myself up for failure if I'm focusing on my don't wants, because my subconscious is always feeding my don't wants. So today, think about, who do you need to be to really have the things you want? And then share one in the comments below if you're brave. I'll share that I'm a chubby grandma, and that's a don't want, so I need to change and adopt a new identity of I don't have to tell anyone or share that with anyone. I just have to start being that and living that. I just have to start being and living and proving to myself that I am a healthy, energetic, 61-year-old woman, and that all the other stuff just doesn't matter. So share in the comments below the identity or an identity you would like to take on in 2022. And will be with you tomorrow. I think every day I'm going to have to be ahead and just come up with, well, what is our challenge for today? Today I just wanted to talk about why this challenge, why I'm not doing, somebody else's journal anymore. Yeah, it was really quick and easy in challenging times, but it makes more sense that I do my own. And I will share, I did write a book a few years ago, and I thought about using my book, it's called Flip Book, for the challenge. And I'm like, no, I've outgrown that too. I wrote that 10 years ago. And so that's not exactly what I want to use for the challenge going forward either. So this year, I'm challenging myself to create a challenge for 365 days, show up every day, and challenge you and myself to be the best version of ourselves, an ever increasing, continually improving, better version of ourselves, the person that we want to be and show up in the world. Not the person we don't want to be, the person we want to be. And that includes creating our identity, because we have the ability and the power to create whatever it is we want in the world. Any questions? Please hit me up. Right now I'm doing this on the Sharon Horne-Ellstrom page. Not sure we'll stay here. If you've got a suggestion that would be a better page, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow.